Hey Maritza.
Hello, Barry.
So we're sitting here at McDonald's. We're doing an annual review of Maritza's financial plan, and we just wanted to do this to show you how this can be done at any time, any place, with anyone. So let's get started. So Maritza, since we first started working together about a year ago, we've talked about a lot of things, but what was the first thing that we did to kind of help you get started?
I feel like I finally have control over my finances ever since we started, because before I wasn't really paying attention to all my finances. They were scattered. So from day one, it's,
What did you do specifically? How did we look at that?
well, we looked at what I had outstanding bills.
But how did you do that? What did you do in order?
Oh, well, for me, it was the best way for me to have seen all my bills and what I had out there, because I was blindfolded by everything. It seems like I had to pull up the credit report. To me, it was clear to me what was on my credit report and what I had to work with.
So before we ran the credit report, you had to do something. What did we look at? What specifically did you do to know where you were?
Oh, I had to write down all my bills, because in the previous years, I just went by what was on top of my head, what I had to pay, but never really had a format to follow by.
And so at that point, how did you feel when your bills were just all over the place? And
Time, I just felt like all my bills were scattered and not organized. I was just focusing on just,
paycheck to paycheck.
yeah, I was just basically working with every 2 weeks. Whenever I got a paycheck, I would say, okay, it's time to pay this bill, or I would put other bills off.
So it was kind of hard. Would you say it was hard to know, plan for the future, doing it that way?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as what we're doing today, we're just kind of going back over your budget, and what's probably the biggest difference in what you're doing now? Do you feel like you're saving money?
Yes. I feel like it's yes. I feel like I'm saving a lot better than I was before.
And is it consistent?
Yes.
Whereas before,
Before, I would adjust my savings according to our seasons, because whenever our seasons slow down, I couldn't afford to save as much for my monthly bills.
so now you're paying yourself first.
Yes, and I'm working around that, because I feel it's very important to save first.
And do you think you ever could have done that going the way you were before?
No, because I would have always taken my savings down, and I would have never been dedicated enough to keep it at a higher savings.
And now, one of the first things we did was we made sure you and your income and your family are protected. How do you feel about that?
Feel really good. Feel confident that if something was to happen to me, they'll be taken care of.
So what's the next thing you want to do now? What's kind of a priority for you with your finances?
Well, I've been working on getting them under control since I started all this. And I would like to just continue on saving, possibly more, as I pay off my debt,
And what do you want to save more for?
my retirement.
What are kind of your concerns about retirement?
Well, I don't want to depend on anybody for financial reasons, and if something was to happen to me, if I needed some kind of medical attention, then my savings would be there to take care of that.
And as far as you mentioned earlier, your credit report. So, without getting into too much detail, I know your credit wasn't very well, but now you have a line of credit where you could get money without having to qualify with the banks. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel really good. But at the same time, I'm going to try to just not use it unless I have to.
Right.
I would rather see it grow and grow, keep growing, and not interfere with the growth of it.
Well, you mentioned earlier about depending on someone when you get to retirement. What about now? Do you think, in order to borrow money, you have to depend on banks?
No, because I've got that savings that I could save from or that I can pull from, and I don't have to step foot in the bank to borrow from them. And at the same time, my retirement will still continue to grow.
And of course, your savings wasn't consistent, but now you're saving on a regular basis. And you've created a pool of capital that you can borrow from at any time, and you don't have to qualify for it with your credit score. So how do you feel about that, knowing that you don't have to depend on the banks now and you won't have to depend on the government later?
I feel very secure. I feel like it's under control now. And I don't have somebody else putting their hands in that pot of cash or my savings.
And so now that you are saving money and whittling down on your debt,
It feels great. I feel like I'm actually making changes in my life. They may be a little bit at a time, and maybe at a slower pace, but they're changing.
all right, is there anything else that we need to talk about? Any changes that we need to discuss?
Not at this point. I would just like to see a year from now exactly where I'm at. That's my goal, is to see some changes.
Well, good. Well, you're saving consistently and you're protected in the worst case scenario. So thanks for your time today, Maritza. We'll be sharing more information with you. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on social media and let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.